Good morning, children. So, in the previous, so far we have been dealing about the unit that is microbiology. So, in the previous classes, we have dealt about the various concepts regarding the bacteria, and yesterday again we started about the viruses. Just a few recapitulation, like to just understand how well you have heard. Can you just tell me what are pleomorphic bacteria? What are pleomorphic bacteria? Right. The bacteria that changes its shape. That means a bacteria that doesn't have a fixed shape is called as pleomorphic bacteria. And an example for that is Azotobacter. Azotobacter is an example for pleomorphic bacteria. And then circular shaped bacteria, what do you call them? Good. Circular shaped bacteria are called as the cocci, and rod shaped bacteria are called as the bacilli. Bacilli. And basing on the distribution of flagella over surrounding the bacterial cell, if flagella are attached throughout the membrane of the bacterial cell, then that type of arrangement of flagella is described as peritrichous. So these are some. And if the source of basing on the source of nutrition, if the source of energy as well as source of carbon, that is, if the source of energy is solar energy and the source of carbon is from carbon dioxide, such type of bacteria are called as photoautotrophic bacteria. Photoautotrophic bacteria. And opposite to it, you call it as the chemoheterotrophic bacteria. So these are some of the things that we dealt in the previous classes, some of the concepts. And now yesterday we started with the viruses. We just had a glance or bird view about the discovery, how they came into their existence came into limelight. That is the discovery of viruses, which all started by the experiments done on the tobacco plant by whom? Right, by Dmitry Ivanovsky. Dmitry Ivanovsky, he was the person who did the experiments on the tobacco plant. And that disease was named as tobacco mosaic, that virus was named as tobacco mosaic virus. And coming to its classification, which is the committee that is involved in classifying or naming the viruses, that is ICTV, International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. And how many hierarchical levels are there in its nomenclature? Right, there are only 3 hierarchical levels, that is family, genus, and then species. So this is all, these are the main things that we learnt about, and we studied about the structure of the viruses, or what the virus is made up of. So the viruses are called as the biological entities which are capable of infecting different types of cells, right from bacterial cells to the most complex human beings also. So these viral particles, what are they made up of? They are made up of 2 major components, that is a protein coat and then a genetic material. The genetic material may be, as we said yesterday, it may be a double-stranded DNA or a single-stranded DNA or a single-stranded RNA. So the genetic material may be different. And coming to today's mainly what we are going to discuss today, coming to our topic for today, is we will discuss in brief or in detail, we'll discuss about the structures of 2 types of viruses. That is, one is TMV, tobacco mosaic virus. We'll discuss about the tobacco mosaic virus. So this tobacco mosaic virus and another virus which is called as the T4 phase. So we'll discuss about the structures of these 2 viruses in detail. And coming to the tobacco mosaic virus, this the length or its It's about 300 nanometers. I told you what is nanometers in yesterday's class. So it's about 300 nanometers long. The okay, it's 300 nanometers long. Uh, 300 nanometers long, and its diameter is just about 18 nanometers. The diameter is 18 nanometers. That is the diameter. The diameter of TMV virus is 18 nanometers. That is the diameter of this virus. And then coming to its molecular weight is 39 into 10 to the power of 6 Daltons. That is its molecular weight. Molecular weight of the virus is 39 into 10 to the power of 6 Daltons. And as you know, each virus, every virus consists of a protein coat. And what's that protein coat called? It's called as the capsid. And each capsid is made up of several subunits. As you know that it's a protein coat. So the capsid is made up of several subunits, protein subunits, which are called as the capsomeres. So the TMV virus also consists of a protein coat, which is called as the capsid. And this is made up of several protein subunits. So it consists of 2130 subunits, which are also called as the capsomeres. So the capsid of TMV virus consists of 2130 subunits. And these capsomeres, they are arranged around a hollow space of 4 nanometers. In this hollow place, you have the genetic material like this, and then it is surrounded by a number of these protein subunits. These are the subunits. This is the hollow space, which is about 4 nanometers in diameter. This is the hollow space. Surrounding the hollow space, you have several protein subunits, which are arranged like this around, surrounding the hollow space. You have the arrangement of the protein subunits. So this is how the structure of the TMV virus will be. And each protein subunit consists, that is, each capsomere is again made up of, as you know, the smallest units of the proteins. The smallest units of the proteins are the amino acids. So each capsomere is made up of 158 amino acids. 158 amino acids. So this is what each capsomere is made up of. So the capsid of the TMV virus, the capsid of the TMV virus is made up of 2130 capsomeres, and each capsomere is again made up of 158 amino acids. 158 amino acids. And inside this protein coat, we have a spirally arranged RNA molecule. That is, its genetic material is RNA. You have a spirally arranged RNA molecule inside this capsid. This is the capsid. And this RNA consists of 6,500 nucleotides. The RNA is made up of 6,500 nucleotides. This is what the RNA is made up of. So we all know that the genetic material or the nucleic acids are nothing but giant polymers of nucleotides. They are made up, the building blocks of the genetic materials are nothing but the nucleotides. So this genetic material, that is the RNA that is present in the TMV virus, consists of 6,500 nucleotides. So this is in brief the structure of the TMV virus, that is the tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus. What's the length of this virus? It's about 300 nanometers. The length of the virus is 300 nanometers and its diameter is 18 nanometers. And the molecular weight of the TMV virus is 39 into 10 to the power of 6 Daltons. And as we know, the basically every virus consists of two major components, that is the protein coat and the genetic material. So coming to the protein coat of the TMV virus, which is called as the capsid, we call the protein coat of every virus as a capsid. So this capsid consists of, it's made up of subunits. These are the subunits which are around a hollow space that is about 400 nanometers. Around this hollow space there is the arrangement of this capsomeres. So these are all the capsomeres that arrange themselves around the hollow space, in which we have the spirally arranged genetic material, that is the RNA. So 2130 capsomeres make up the capsid of the TMV virus, and each capsomere is made up of, as it's a protein subunits, each capsomere is made up of 158 amino acids. Is made up of 158 amino acids, and the genetic material RNA that is present in the TMV virus, it is made up of 6500 nucleotides. So this is the structure of the TMV virus. This is a very important question, especially commonly repeated question, that is 4-mark question. Describe in detail the structure of TMV virus. Describe in detail the structure of TMV virus. So with this we have completed the structure of TMV virus. Let's quickly move on to the description of the other virus, that is a type of bacteriophage which is called as the T4 bacteriophage. The T4, that is the second one that we'll be discussing. Now the other structure is, I told you about a type of bacteriophage which is called as the T4. It's a type of bacteriophage. So this T4 bacteriophage, it consists of a polyhedral head, a head-like structure. This is the head. It's also like a tadpole. It consists of a tail sheath, a collar, and then at the base you have a base plate at the base, and then you have the tail fibers. These are the tail fibers. These are the structures that you see in a T4 bacteriophage, a polyhedral head. And this the genetic material in this T4 bacteriophage is a DNA. So this is the head, and then it contains the DNA, and here you have the joining part, you can call it as the collar. This is the collar, and then here you have a sheath. This is called as the tail sheath. This is the sheath, and here you have a base plate. This is the base plate, and then these are the tail fibers. All these things, these are the tail fibers, and these tail fibers, help the bacteria to land on a susceptible host, on the receptor regions of a host cell, that is the bacterial cell. So the virus that infects the bacterial cell is called as the bacteriophage virus, which is having majorly the main parts are the head and the collar connecting the head and the tail sheath. This is the sheath, and then at the base you have the base plate and then the tail fiber. So this is the structure of the T4 bacteriophage. Now Let's quickly move on to the. So now children, let's move on to the next important concept, that is about the multiplication of bacteriophages. Multiplication of bacteriophages. So as we know that viruses outside the host cell, they behave like lifeless crystals. They are just crystals outside the host cell. So they are dependent on the host cell. In detailed multiplication of bacteriophages was well studied. And bacteriophage, they multiply in two, they can multiply in two alternative methods. Multiplication of these bacteriophages takes place in the host cell. Obviously, it takes place in the host cell, and this mechanism involves two different types of cycles. One is the lytic cycle. Lytic cycle. And the second type of cycle of its multiplication is the lysogenic cycle. Lysogenic cycle. So the mode of multiplication of the bacteriophages takes place in two different types. So that is the lytic cycle, and another one is the lysogenic cycle. As the name itself gives us an idea about the lytic cycle. Lytic means lysis, destruction, or it involves at the end the death of the cell, the death of the host cell takes place in the lytic cycle, where this death of the host cell does not take place in the second type of cycle, that is the lysogenic cycle. So here destruction of the host cell takes place, whereas here such destruction does not occur, or death of the host cell does not occur in the second cycle, that is the lysogenic cycle. Now first of all, let's learn about the lytic cycle. After that, we'll study about what we'll know about what is the lysogenic cycle. So T-even phases. This is a type of bacteriophages which are called as the T-even phases. So these viruses, they follow the lytic cycle. That's why they are also called as the virulent phases, because it virulent, because it involves the you can say the death of the host cells. Why they are the virulent phases, the T-even phases. And this lytic cycle involves 5 different steps. The lytic cycle gets completed in 5 major steps. The first and foremost step in the lytic cycle is attachment. That is the first step, attachment. The second is penetration. Third is biosynthesis. Third one is biosynthesis. The third stage is biosynthesis. And then coming to the fourth stage, that is maturation. And the last and the final stage is release. So these are the 5 different stages that are involved in the lytic cycle. So let's just in brief understand what happens in each and every step. It involves 5 different steps, which cycle the lytic cycle. And we have already discussed that in lytic cycle it involves the destruction of the host cells, or the death of the host cells. So the first step, that is attachment. So first of all, the attachment of the bacteriophage virus on its host cell, that is what happens. That is the first step. That is you have the head, and then you have the tail fibers. Like that, with the help of the tail fibers, the bacteriophage lands on the surface of the receptive sites of the bacterial cell. It lands there. That is the first step. So we have completed the first step, that is attachment. First of all, attaching to the host cell. Next one is penetration. Here, after attachment, during this, the tail sheath, that is the tail sheath contracts. It withdraws. The tail sheath contracts, and the main tail core, it protrudes down and pierces the plasma membrane. It pierces the plasma membrane of the host cell. After the piercing of the plasma membrane, the DNA, which is the genetic material, the DNA from the bacteriophage now slowly slips down and enters into the bacterial cell. It enters the DNA. It enters into the bacterial cell. So that is what happens in the second stage. That is penetration. DNA from the bacteriophage now it enters into the bacterial cell, and what is left back is the protein coat. That is the capsid. This is now called as the ghost, which is present at the outer side of the cell membrane, which is it still remains attached without the genetic material. The genetic material has slipped past through the pore that is formed by the tail core. It enters into the host cell, and now this just the protein coat that is left outside. It's called as the ghost. Now the next third step that happens, or the third stage, is biosynthesis. Now this DNA, that is the viral DNA, it takes control over the genetic material of the host cell. It takes control, and it uses all the organelles or all the materials that are present in the host cell to produce viral DNAs, and then the protein coats. The protein coats are formed, that is the capsids are formed, making use of all the materials that are present in the host cell. It prepares several DNAs. Bacteriophage DNAs are formed, the protein coats are formed inside the host cell. So this is what happens, that is biosynthesis. Production of materials of its own kind, similar type. All this takes place in the third step, that is biosynthesis. And during the fourth step, here now the assemblage takes place. Assembling, that is into the protein coats. Into the protein coats there will be the inclusions of the genetic materials. That is what is called as maturation. Into each protein coat there will be the insertion of the DNA. So by the end of the fourth stage, we have a bacterial cell which will be having several bacteriophage viruses will be there. That is the DNA will be present inside the head. That is what is called as maturation. You have several viruses with the genetic material. Assemblage takes place, and now this is the maturation. That is the fourth stage, that is maturation. And during the fifth stage, that is the lysis phase. So finally these matured viruses have to be released from the host cell, and that is done by the release of an enzyme which is called the virus releases an enzyme which is called as lysozyme. This enzyme, when it is released, it destructs or it breaks the bacterial cell wall, and the newly formed phase particles or the virions, are released from the host cell, and now they will be infecting other new cells. Other bacterial cells will be infected by these virions. So this breakage of the cell wall and cell membrane of the host cell will takes place by the release of an enzyme which is called as lysozyme, which is released by the virus which is released for the lysis of the host cell. So this is what happens in the lytic cycle. Lytic cycle consists of 5 different stages. That is, first one is attachment, second one penetration, third one biosynthesis, the fourth maturation, and fifth one is release. Attachment means attaching of the bacteriophage to the host cell, to a bacterial cell. Next, contracting the tail sheath and then piercing the membrane of the bacterial cell and then slowly letting its DNA into the bacterial cell. Biosynthesis, making use of all the materials that are present in the host cell. It takes control over the genetic material of the bacterial cell and orders it to prepare materials that are used for formation of the bacteriophage viruses. That is, the protein coats are formed and the genetic material is formed. And afterwards, maturation, where you have the complete formation of the phases. The viruses are formed. And the last phase is the released by the release of an enzyme that is called as lysozyme, which destroys the membrane and the cell wall of the host cell, and thereby the virions or the infective particles, that is the phases, are released into the released out. The newly produced virions are sent out of the host cell. So this is the lytic cycle. Now let's quickly move on to the next cycle. The next cycle, that is what did I tell you? The second cycle is lysogenic cycle. So here it doesn't involve the you can say it doesn't involve the death of the cycle, the death of the host cell. So the example for lysogenic cycle is performed by a bacteriophage called as the lambda phase. The lambda phase. So here this phase DNA enters into the bacterial cell, that is the E. coli, and it gets integrated with the genetic material of the host cell. It gets attached, it gets integrated and remains in a latent form. It gets attached to the genetic material of the bacterial cell, and then it remains in an inactivated form or in a latent form. Just like that, it becomes a part of the genetic material of the host DNA, and then it remains in a latent form, that is in an inactive state. And when the bacteria are duplicating, or when they are reproducing by binary fission, in that manner, it's along with the genetic material of the host cell, the lambda phase viruses also, they enter into the newly formed bacterial cells. In that same manner, how the genetic material is distributed to the newly formed bacterial cells, the latent genetic material of the virus also gets integrated into the newly formed bacterial cells. So such phases are called as the temperate phases. The inactive DNA becomes a part of the newly formed bacterial cells also. That's why these viruses are called as the temperate phases. They are not the virulent phases. They remain inactive and they will be duplicating along with the host cell. In certain conditions, when these host cells are subjected to ultraviolet rays or to mutants, that is to conditions where mutations takes place, when these host cells are subjected to mutations, then this latent lambda cells, this latent DNA particle, viral DNA may become activated, and then it transfers itself into the lytic phase. In conditions where the host cells are exposed to mutants or where they are exposed to mutations, then this happens. So this is the two different methods of multiplication of bacteriophages, that is the lytic stage and the lysogenic stage. I would like to wish you all a happy Independence Day for